Pioneers, the Vogues, the Mighty, and finally, the Retros. And they are off. The shotgun.
It's safe to say that I am obsessed with this game. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and let's dive into what makes the finals beta great and what I hope they change in the future. There are a ton of shining moments within the finals, but one of the biggest standouts for me is the character class variety. The classes are broken down into light, medium, and heavy builds. The light class is insanely fast but super squishy, so movement is king with the pint-sized combatants. Medium players are the jack of all trades class, dealing great damage while also being equipped with kits that can support your teammates. Rounding out the pack is my personal favorite, the heavy class. The chonk kings and queens are slower than a snail, but have a massive health pool that encourages you to lead the charge and dominate in close quarters. While there are some relatively defined roles within each class, neither of the three feel overpowered. The biggest surprise with the character builds is how much you can tailor each specialization to fit your preferred playstyle. Each class can unlock additional equipment and weapons such as melee weapons, explosives, crowd controlling items, additional movement abilities, shields, shotguns, automatic weapons, long-range weapons, and more for each class. Do you want high-speed movement and a katana in your right hand? There's a build for that. Do you want a shield and shotgun to clear out the objective? Yep, there's a build for that too. The depth at your disposal keeps you coming back to try new builds and character classes to see what fits you best. With how much versatility you have within each build, I was expecting it to result in a couple OP builds that dominate lobbies. However, the pros and cons for each class are surprisingly balanced. There's nothing worse than feeling like you've lost a match at the character selection screen, and this is not the case. Instead, it's all about finding what's best for you and perfecting it. My personal favorite is running the heavy class with a semi-auto shotgun and defensive shield. There's nothing quite like going into a building and lighting the enemy up like a Christmas tree and mowing down the competition. Go ahead and drop a comment and let me know what your favorite build is. When it comes to high-octane first-person shooters, great movement is detrimental to the experience. It feels like the finals took a page out of Apex's book with buttery slides, generous mantling, zip lines galore, and jump pads that will get you higher than a tourist in Colorado. With how much verticality there is within each arena, the movement feels like a beautiful complement to get you where you need to be. The light class in particular is going to be the popular choice for those that love that cracked out movement. The little guys start with a grapple hook that will have you zipping around buildings like Spider-Man and can quickly get you in fights and out of them. Furthermore, you can unlock a specialization for the light class donned Evasive Dash, which lets you blink up to 3 times to traverse rooftops or overwhelm the enemy with flash-like movement. While the light class does seem too strong because of their cracked out movement, it once again feels balanced because of their tiny health pool. The medium and heavy classes are blessed with their own movement styles, with medium having a jump pad that can send your team to the top of buildings and rain terror from above. The heavy class is by far the slowest, with a more boots on the ground feel. However, you can make an impact with their bull rush skill that lets you knock down walls and crash that party. Similar to the build options, it's all about finding the movement that fits your style, which is a very refreshing take on how a wide range of options can affect the outcome of a fight. Similar to the build options, it's all about finding the movement that fits your playstyle, which is a refreshing take on how a wide range of options can affect the outcome of a fight. Knowing that the developers behind the finals are former contributors to the Battlefield franchise makes it clear why the Destructible Environments are so damn good in this game. With every game mode having a focal point around cashing your bankroll at specific locations, it makes fighting for the point an electric factory full of chaos. It's no coincidence that the banking locations are often set on roofs or high up places because it encourages you to destroy buildings to alter the position of the objective. The destruction is obviously very appealing visually, but adding a layer of strategy into why you're destroying the buildings makes taking and protecting the objective an unpredictable surprise every single time. Your team can have the roof, off angle, and objective all covered, and then boom! Half the building is in shambles and 2 light class characters come zipping in to wreck your plan. It's bloody brilliant. The most impressive part for me is how well the game's performance holds up when all of this destruction is happening. When I saw the game was only 12 gigabytes, I was nervous that there would be some awful frame rate issues when things hit peak chaos, but it wasn't the case 98% of the time. I feel like they took the essence of Battlefield and cranked it up to 1,000 by making the destruction a big mechanic and strategy to the game. As for the game modes, it's all about banking that cash. The main game mode, titled Cash It, requires you to extract $10,000 from a location, escort it to a banking kiosk, and then hold down the fort so enemy teams can't steal the money. It's a straightforward and simple concept that has a good amount of depth the more you play it. Do you want to be the ones to escort the money, or do you want to slow play it and try to intercept them at one of the 2 kiosks? What I enjoyed most about the game modes is how long it takes to bank the money. By having a slower timer at the kiosk, it warrants multiple fights before the banking team can cash those 10 bands. It results in high octane action that puts a big emphasis on focus fire and teamwork. Do you spread out around the point and go for team wipes, or do you rig the kiosk with explosives to deter the enemy from trying to steal? It's a game mode that requires fluid strategies and quick thinking to pounce on the enemy and take that money for your own team. As for competitive play, the ranked game mode is where the finals title gets its inspiration from, as it is a tournament style format with 3 rounds going from 8 teams to 4 teams down to 2. The ranked mode is the same concept as Cash It, with the addition of a few thoughtful mechanics. The first change is that instead of 1 cash vault, there are now 2, so both kiosks could be banked at the same time. It forces your team to make a decision on what is priority based on the leaderboard, but the game doesn't tell you what team is cashing in which kiosk. It results in a bit of educated guesswork if you're not tracking either team heading into the respective kiosk. The second is the addition of a team wipe penalty. In quick play modes, you have unlimited revives and don't lose money if your entire team goes down. However, in ranked formats, each player has only 3 revive tokens per round, and if your team wipes, you lose 30% of your current earnings. I love this because it puts an emphasis on team cohesion, communication, and being smart with your life. If one of your teammates is feeding and you can't revive them, you may end up being down a player by the end of the round because they have no tokens left to come back into the fight. It's just another layer of depth in a seemingly simple format that makes each match feel unique, exhilarating, and rewarding for everyone involved. My only critique, or something I'd like to see added to one of the game modes, is how the cash being banked is accounted for. Currently, it's an all or nothing scenario when depositing the money at the kiosk. That means if the enemy steals the money from you at the very last second, they get all 10k worth of that in their bank account. I would love to see a mode where the cash gets dripped into the banking team's account over time to reward teams who grab the vault and hold the kiosk down for a long time. For example, having something like $1,000 to your bank every 10 seconds until it reaches 5k out of the total 10k, and then the team who caps it at the end gets the remaining 5k bonus. I think it can add more chaos and emphasis on trying to get to the vault instead of some teams just waiting till it's near the end of the banking cooldown before pushing hard and stealing it all. As for the presentation, I kinda have some mixed feelings about it. In regards to the positives, I love the stadium setting that makes you feel like you're in a modern day Roman Colosseum. Fans are circling the entire arena watching you eliminate your opponents and erupting when you get a team wipe. While the atmosphere is tremendous, the commentary is concerning as it may create a slippery slope in the future. The 2 commentators have a sports-like tone which fits the bill for the game's playstyle.
All right, the ultra rares, the vogues, the mighty, and finally, the retros.
However, the voiceover work is all done via AI. With SAG-AFTRA still on strike and so many gaming companies dealing layoffs to their employees, I can't help but feel like AI will be utilized in the future more often to undercut the voice actors. It makes me nervous that this could become the norm, and I hope regulations can be put in place to prevent this from becoming more prominent than it's already shaping up to be. It's safe to say that I absolutely love the finals, but it doesn't mean it's not immune to a few quality of life changes that I hope they implement. I played my beta experience on console, so some of these changes are going to be specific to those respective platforms. The first implementation I hope to see in the future is more button mapping customization for console players. I don't think it's a lot to ask for to have the options of remapping buttons or abilities to your desired layout because of how fast and chaotic the fights can be. I absolutely hated the weapon wheel, and it's nice to see that they have options in place already to move those items to the D-pad. However, I still hope they give more customization mapping in that department. The other noticeable disparity is how much recoil there is for automatic weapons on console compared to PC. The AK-47 on console feels like an unplayable bucking bronco, but when you hop over to PC, it's more stable than a surgeon's hand. Similar issues are apparent with the SMGs, and it makes cross-playing on console a frustrating experience because of the recoil parity. Outside of those two changes, I'm really enjoying what the finals is bringing to the table in the free-to-play arena shooter genre. It brings elements from Apex, Overwatch, Call of Duty, and Battlefield that blend together beautifully to create a unique experience that is addicting to play. While there's no official release date post the current beta, I'm hoping we can have this game firmly in our hands within the next month or two. The developers have said the release window is sometime in 2023, so that hope should likely become a reality much sooner than later. What are your thoughts on the finals beta? Are you having as much fun as I am? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, a like goes a long way on spreading that love. If you want to stay up to date on future gaming reviews, go ahead and tap that subscribe button. This is Josh Robinson with Joystick Gamer. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!